All right, we're dancing our way in here. So we are checking out the Murphy Lab that I got a while ago and then comparing it, bam, to the 63 Firebird 3 that I got a while ago. The Tobacco Burst 1 is an actual vintage Firebird, while the Murphy Lab is obviously a Murphy Lab. And we're gonna see, is all the Murphy Lab hype worth it, or is it just a great guitar but doesn't really compare to the actual vintage one? And we have Gabby behind the camera. Anything you want to say to the people of the internet out there?
The bodies are in the walls.
All right, so one of the things about the Murphy Lab, oh my God, it's like Les Paul heavy. And I know you look at these big bodies and think they're gonna be heavy, but most Firebirds are not. Mine's really light. And I know it has this on here, but there's no way it's adding that much weight. I've played a bunch of different Firebirds. This one is extremely heavy, so I think that's a little bit of a miss there, but what really matters is what it sounds like. So we're going to compare the pickups. The rig we're using is the good old Marshall Origin UA Golden Reverberator, and right into the 2 notes. So let's go ahead and see if the tones stack up. It sounds really, really good, but I don't think that they don't sound like Firebird pickups. They sound like mini humbuckers. They're so big and like full sounding, and I don't know, that's just not the Firebird sound to me. So I think the pickups are the weakest link on here. Again, it sounds great. It sounds really, really good, but they just don't sound like when I hear the other Firebird, I'm like, oh, there's that nasal, that quack that a Firebird has, and this just sounds like a humbucker. And maybe they were trying to create something that was a little bit more usable, because the Firebird sound is pretty particular. So to me, this is the Firebird sound. This middle position, there's so much quack and twang to it. And I know Page used a Strat, but to me, a Firebird should sound Strat-y. Don't you think they sound way different?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, like it's this has so they still have the brittleness somehow, and it still sounds full, but it has none of that quack. That the strattiness has been taken out of it. And then the neck pickup, you can hear just how warm and woolly it is. Just higher output, you know. I wonder what these clock in at. I don't have a way to measure them, but I bet you they're too hot. And the neck pickup is what's killing that middle sound on here. But again, sounds great. Doesn't sound as Firebirdy as I want it to sound.
Warm and woolly.
Warm and woolly. But it sounds really good. Like, as soon as I play it, I'm like, it sounds great. All right, so I want to talk about some of the good things about the guitar, because I don't want to just sit here and dog it the whole time. is, you know, you look at the color, and I thought they did such a good job of getting Pelham blue. It's one of my favorite blues. It needs to have this like slight greenness to it. It's kind of like, it's the seafoam green of Gibson. And they nailed it. You know, the checking on it is really, really cool. I will say the checking is way more intense, you know, on this one, which is kind of this like manufactured checking, but it's not done with a razor blade or anything. Like, you can probably see that. I don't know how well it's gonna get in there, how well that's gonna show on there, but we got some B-roll for you too. But you can feel the checking all over this thing. You cannot feel the checking on the real 63. So I thought that was interesting how much more intense this is. And I don't know if that's like a purposefully made like over dramatic thing that they go for, but the looks of this thing are so spot on. Like, they absolutely nailed that. And sorry, let's throw in a little bit of hate here, because who in the world likes thumb, you see those things? Thumb bleeders? They're the worst. I hit my fingers on them constantly. Who thought of that? Who's the guy? I want his name right now. Give me your phone number.
Send location.
Send location. All right, so what did we learn today? This is just a great guitar. I think that it needs to be judged kind of on its own merit. I know it's got the 63 name attached to it. It's great until you compare it to a real 63. Then I think there are differences that are just gonna, you know, kind of make the actual vintage one a little bit better. I think the big issue is you can't manufacture an old guitar. Like, that's just all there is to it. It's a great guitar, probably as good as it can get without going to the actual vintage market. So I couldn't recommend these enough. I think they sound great, but yeah, I think as far as like the extra little 5%, whatever it is, that just happens over time with stuff. So maybe in 50 years, this one will sound that way. So anyways, guys, I'm bouncing out of here. If you get a chance, try a Murphy Lab. This might be like the dream guitar for you, because they're fantastic. But we're gonna end up bluesy and get on out of here, because we got cookies on the line.
Crumble.
Crumble cookie! Go buy a Firebird.